Hi, I'm Richard Ramos, author and founder of Parents on a Mission. And today I want to talk to you about the gang prevention training and leadership development that we offer, and just give you a sense of the kind of training that we're inviting you to and whether or not it's something that you want to be a part of. First of all, if you're out there doing work in the community regarding the gang issue, I congratulate you, and I know that you're doing good work. But as you know, if you've seen my site before or have visited one of my videos on YouTube and watched the training, our focus is on parents. That's where our focus is at. So I'm inviting you. We have training coming up in March next month on the 22nd and 23rd. But before you decide to invest your time and resources in that, what exactly am I inviting you to? So I just wanted to give you kind of a sense of that. And we are looking for people who really have a heart and a burden for parents, because we believe that that is the root of the problem, a lack of parent leadership. Now, again, I'm talking about prevention. And as I've studied and done the research with all the literature and data that's out there, and I'm sure many of you have as well, when we talk about prevention, we just believe that we have to work with parents. I always say you can't replace parents with programs. And that doesn't mean that we don't believe in programs. We have a program. But what it means is that our program and our focus when it comes to prevention is more about equipping and helping the parents in the home, because that's where the kids are coming from. They're all coming from somewhere, and they're all coming from they live somewhere. They're coming out of a home. And so in order to help prevent children from growing up and wanting or desiring to be a gang member, we believe we have to help parents. Now, what normally happens, or what typically happens a lot, is that communities develop programs for youth. And those programs are great, but we need, I believe, more programs for parents. Because if we equip parents to be leaders in their home, that's going to help prevent their children from ever wanting to become a gang member. So to give you an idea of what we teach, basically it's three things that we are going to train you in. And number one is in your own personal and professional development. That's very important, and I'll come back to that. And the second thing is that we are going to help you with parent leadership and how to empower the parents. Not to focus on motivating their children to behave better, not teaching them techniques of how to get their children to do what they want, but rather to focus on themselves. I always say, a lot of parenting classes teach children or teach parents how to fix their children. Parents on a Mission is about helping parents fix themselves. Now, I don't know how that sounds to you. That might sound kind of crass, or I don't know, but the fact is we've got to help parents work on themselves. And so the third thing that we focus on in our training is what I call the paradox of leadership. And that is because the focus is more on the being than on the doing. There's a lot of things that we can teach leaders how to do, but the key really needs to be helping us as leaders how to be better at what we are. So let me read to you a quote that I think speaks to this and why I believe it's so important. Edwin Friedman says this: as long as the focus is on technique, the focus, in other words, being of the teaching that we're giving our clients or our audience, as long as the focus is on technique, the being of the consultant is irrelevant. It is only when the focus is on emotional process that the consultant's presence can be considered an important variable. Now that's a great principle, regardless of what it is that what arena we're in. We're talking now about gang prevention in parents. But what he's saying here is that whoever it is the leader is, whoever the teacher is, whoever the consultant is, if all we're going to do is give people information and give them a bunch of techniques and data, then my personal being doesn't matter. But if I want to get involved in transformation, if I want to help people grow and transform and get in touch with that emotional process where somebody can actually go from one level to the next level in emotional maturity or emotional intelligence, then my being, my maturity, my emotional intelligence is very important. As he says here, clients can rarely rise above the maturity level of their helpers. So in this training that you come to, that I'm inviting you to, that's what's going to happen. It's not just giving you a bunch of information so that you can give it to somebody else. I mean, we have enough of that. If that was the answer, we would solve a lot of problems by now. But this is about an experience. This is about helping parents get to a place emotionally to look within themselves and deal with some issues and some things within themselves and help them to overcome, help their thought process, help them in a way that brings them a kind of a transformation experience. So that's what we're looking at. Now let me come over here to this, and maybe I think I have some of this written down here. So it's about professional and personal development, as I said. Okay? And hopefully that's important to you. And what we are giving you is what I call a root 4-step framework that deals with the main issue. And what we're saying the main issue is, I don't know if you can see down here, but the main issue is a lack of parent leadership. And so what we're giving in our training is a 4-step process that's going to help parents in this transformation experience grow as a leader. Okay? So the paradox in leadership is that, to be a leader, we know that reading is important. Research is important. And teaching what you've read and researched is important. But what we're saying is this: the paradox of leadership is that these things, though they are important, they are secondary to being, to our own emotional growth. So POM is about focusing parents on this first principle of leadership, which is influence. Now, we learned from John Maxwell. Those of you who are familiar with him, he says that leadership is all about influence. And I believe that that's true. But the key to influence, for parents to have influence in the lives of their children, the key to that is their being. And the key to helping parents grow in their being, to grow in their emotional maturity and intelligence, is to be around leaders who can help them grow in that way. And that's why our training is going to help you in both the personal and professional growth and development. Because when parents grab onto this, then they can really be that main influence in the life of their children, which gets at the issue of a lack of leadership in the home. Because then if that's not happening, the kids are open to every kind of influence that's bombarding them from everywhere. I always say that parents, we teach them that they're in a competition every day. And if they don't look at it that way, then they're going to lose. And the competition comes from basically 4 places: media, magazines, music, and movies. I mean, if you really think about it, media through advertisement, movies, magazines, the lyrics in the music, all these things are bombarding all of us all the time. And so I'm competing for the mind and the heart and the soul of my children. That's why influence is so important. That's leadership. And so what we've developed is a 4-step process to help parents get to that place of emotional growth in their lives, to help them be that leader that they need to be. Okay? So the first one is, what you're going to learn, is personal growth. And we say that this is the key to safe neighborhoods. We have a process that we help parents go through, and in personal growth, it deals with their thought life, it deals with their self-esteem, it deals with forgiveness of things in their life in the past, and we walk them through this process so that they can have an understanding of, how do I grow? If I buy into this idea that I need to grow and be, well, how do I do it? And so we teach them how to do it. And we believe that that personal growth process, when parents are maturing like that and growing as leaders on a regular basis, because we all know this is a lifelong process. None of us arrive, but it's a lifelong process. And if we get parents to understand we're in a competition and we need to be influencing our children, and that influence is coming because of what we're being more than what we're doing. And we can do a lot of things, and that's fine, but it's our being, who we are as a man, as a dad, as a father, as a husband. That's where the influence comes, and that's an ongoing process of growth. So that's the first step, that you're going to learn how to teach parents and walk them through that. Mostly because you're doing it yourself. Secondly is authority. Now, I believe that the authority of the parent, or the lack of authority, is the most overlooked reason why children go astray. And we break that down and we explain that, the proper use of authority. And we teach parents that they need to earn the authority that they have, not demand it, through the proper use of discipline. And discipline, as you know, is a huge subject. It's controversial, and we deal with that, especially in light of some of the things that have come out recently about child abuse. You may or may not be aware or know of the situation at Penn State University, but that's the reason that we speak to this issue. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. They want to avoid it. They don't want to confront the controversy of how parents are disciplining their children. But somebody has to be a voice for those kids. Somebody has to give them a voice, because they're suffering silently behind closed doors. And what a shame it is that years later, after these young boys, in this particular case at Penn State, when they're men, now are coming forward and speaking, giving relief to, and letting go of all those years of abuse that they went through, and they never spoke about it, or they never really told anybody. And so discipline, the proper use of discipline. And when parents learn and understand the importance of that, and how that helps them to earn the respect for their authority, that becomes a huge benefit to the community. And we show parents how that's linked to preventing children from joining gangs and other negative lifestyles. Then the third step in this process is community building. And what we teach here is that parent leaders teach their children citizenship. I mean, think about it. Where do we learn how to be citizens? We can learn about it in school, of course. In school, they usually teach us something about being a citizen and saying the Pledge of Allegiance and things like that. But remember, this is about being. It's about character. And so, where is it that children learn how to be a neighbor? How to have respect for their neighbors, how to have a pride of ownership and pride of neighborhood and all those kinds of things that a citizen buys into the welfare of everybody else. Where is that learned? And what we're teaching is parents to understand that's learned in the daily comings and goings and interactions and relationship between siblings and moms and sons and dads and sons and daughters and dads and daughters and moms, and interacting into what they understand that they're building citizens. Because think of this, every day as parents, what do we send out every day out of our house? Every day. What do we send to the classroom? What do we send to the parks and the pools? Citizens. And the question is, what kind of citizen are we sending to the classroom? Is it an obedient child who knows how to respect authority? Well, not really, not if this isn't happening up here. So all of these you see tied together. And so citizenship and building community in the home, the family is the first place where that happens. We teach them that the family is a microcosm of the community, and we are raising citizens. Okay? And then finally, again, I apologize if you can't see this down here, but the last one is loyalty, which is the golden key to prevention. Now listen to what I'm saying. This is key. Loyalty is the issue, isn't it? I mean, that's what this is all about. It's about loyalty, because you know that if you're going to be a gang member, those of you who grew up around gangs like I did, I grew up in Northeast Los Angeles, and any of you that are familiar with Los Angeles, especially Northeast Los Angeles, you know that that is a very heavily gang-infested area. So gangs for me has been something that's been a part of my life all my life. My mother still lives in that neighborhood. So this isn't the subject for me. This has been a life, and seeing so many young people give their life to the wrong thing. And I was going down that road myself when I was very young. But what was the issue about being a gang member? Isn't it about loyalty? I mean, in order to be a gang member, you have to be down. You have to be willing to be down, which means you got to do and be whatever the gang wants to do and whatever they want you to be. If we have to go steal, if we have to go get in a fight, if we even to the point of killing people. Now let me ask you this. Why would a 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15-year-old girl or young boy, why would they want to give that gift away? Why would they want to give the gift of loyalty to a street gang? I'll tell you why. Because something is missing in the home. Something's wrong there. Because every child wants to give their loyalty to their parents. It's innate. It's in our nature. That's what we want to do. That's just natural. I mean, we see this all the time where children will be loyal to their father or mother even when they're abusive, even when they've hurt them physically or sexually or verbally, and they're still loyal to a point. Isn't that right? So the issue is, who is going to win the mind, the soul, the heart, the loyalty of their children? Who's going to compete? And how do you compete? How do you win that gift? See, we can't demand it. It's got to be something that we've earned over time. And so loyalty is the key to prevention, whether it be gangs or anything else. When we've got the loyalty, the heart and mind of our children, we're going to have a pretty good chance that they're not going to make a decision to go down the wrong road or give their loyalty away, because when the gang or whatever temptations those temptations might be, when they come their way and ask for that loyalty, the answer is going to be no, because they've already given their loyalty somewhere else. And this is why family and obedience and respect and authority and community and loyalty and all these things and leadership is so important. So that's what you're going to learn about. This is what we're teaching parents. Now, remember, each one of these subjects, personal growth, authority, community, and trust and loyalty, because by building trustful relationships with our children, that's how we win their loyalty. Each one of those subjects has gone into depth, and we provide a manual so all the leaders can go out in the community and give the parents the in-depth information that they need to learn how to do all these things that I've mentioned. So let me see what else I put up here for you to give you and then the last thing I want to share with you today is this whole idea about a community campaign strategy, Parents on a Mission community campaign strategy, which has to do with the proper use of propaganda. I mean, what is propaganda? Most of the time when you say the word propaganda, people think of it in a negative way. But really, all propaganda is promotion for an idea, really. And it can be a good idea. Or it's a campaign for consent. That's what we want to do. And so the leaders that we're training, what I'm inviting you to become a part of, is one of our leaders who's on a propaganda campaign for parent leadership. And that parent leadership is the root of the issue. It's the key to preventing children from joining gangs. And that's our mission. That's what Parents on a Mission is all about. Okay? And so we do that in a 4-step process of reaching out. You may have seen this before. Recruiting, retaining, and reproducing. So we are going to teach you how to do that. How do we see, because we can't just put out flyers and expect parents, the kind that we want, to come to this training. We're going to have to go out and recruit them. We're going to have to reach out. I mean, you all know how hard it is to get parents, especially the kind of parents that we're trying to help. How hard it is to get them to come and participate in this program. Now, this is a 6-week curriculum. Parents on a Mission is a 6-week curriculum. And in order to get parents to commit for 6 weeks, it takes some doing. So there's got to be an element of reaching out. And so we, again, provide that kind of training, how to do that in the community. And then who do we recruit? Who are we looking for exactly? Who is our target audience in this prevention realm that we're working in? And then once we get them, how do you retain them? How do you keep them involved and engaged? And then finally, and the key to this whole thing, this movement that we are creating, this leadership movement, the key to it is reproducing leaders. So we're teaching you how to reproduce leaders, how to recruit them, how to train them, and all that I've already said. So that's what I'm inviting you to. And if you want to come to this training, if you think this is something for you that you want to learn more about, I need to hear from you. I need you to send me an email. You should be able to see my email there on the screen. And just say, hey, Richard, I want to be trained in this. I think this is for me. I've done a lot of work with gang members. I've done a lot of intervening kind of work, but I hear what you're saying, and I want to be a part of your leadership team. And we've trained leaders all over the country and in Canada. As a matter of fact, I'll be in Canada next week doing this very thing. And so I wanted to give you a sense of what I'm inviting you to, what it is you're going to learn. Now, obviously, in this 20 or 25-minute video or however long it is, I can't give you everything. This is a 2.5-day training, so or it's either 2.5 days. We're still trying to fit it all into 2, but I can't obviously give you all that we're going to train you in this video. But you should have a sense of what you're investing in. Your time is valuable. Your resources are valuable. And so I just thought I would give you a taste of the kind of training that we provide. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. Send me an email or call me. Let me know, and I will get the information right to you. Okay? Again, I'm Richard Ramos, Parents on a Mission. We'd love to have you as part of our team. Thanks for your time.